Now, everything old is new again. America's entertainment pop culture talk show with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
This is Terrence Winter, writer and executive producer of The Sopranos, creator and executive producer of Boardwalk Empire and the new Vinyl on HBO. And you're listening to my friends Douglas Viviani and David Cohen on Everything Old is New Again.
Ah, listen to that. Terry Winter himself, Emmy Award winner, who's our friend.
Yes, he is. We can say that.
All right. This is Douglas Viviani on Everything Old is New Again with the ever-discriminating David Cohen.
That's right, because it's fall. And you know what fall means?
Fall means it's the new TV season.
Yeah, I mean, that's so geeky, but I still get excited about the new TV season, right?
You remember back in the day, we'll date ourselves, what are you going to do? I can't help it, but we would get in the mail the TV guide.
Oh, yeah.
Fall edition. You get it probably, I guess, first week of September, last week in August.
Before the internet, before any kind of communication existed.
Yes. Television was appointment TV.
Right.
So if a show was on at 8:30 on
you had to be there, man.
So you would open that TV guide, and they would lay out there was only 3 channels.
3 networks, right?
3 networks.
Right.
So every network, they would lay out what shows on and when by night, and you would earmark the page or circle or whatever you would do, and you would plan your next, 4 months till the holiday season came around, where they took a break for your television viewing.
Right.
And that's what we're going to do for you here on the entertainment pop culture talk show that's on the rise. Everything Old is New Again. We're going to be your TV guide and let you know what we think would be new, brand new. Doesn't have to
be good.
These are the brand new
Doesn't
shows.
have to be funny.
Well, it does. Our show doesn't have to be good or funny, but those shows do. We're going to go through and dive into and just give you the cream of the crop of what we're predicting, what I think, because we haven't seen all of these shows yet. It's brand new.
But we're going to tell you whether they're good or not, even though we have not seen them.
I'm going to say, listen, do me a favor. Some of them I've seen, but give it a shot. Give these shows a shot, because I think they might be something would be worthwhile. What do you think of that premise, at least?
Right. We're just going to basically tell you what we think might be good shows without having seen them.
And we'll have the argument you love to have, because we are looking at a nostalgic look to the future and trying to make radio fun again, as all our 3 taglines put together. It sounds pretty good, right?
We keep building taglines every week.
Something's got to catch on at some point.
Throw enough stuff at the wall, something's got to stick. Right?
Now let's take a look at American Housewife. You may have seen the commercials for this. It's out now. It looks like it could be decent here. Let's listen to their promo.
How did you get a pizza stain on the back of your shirt?
I was either wearing it backwards when I ate the pizza, or I'm wearing it backwards now. Yeah, now.
American Housewife series premiere Tuesday, October 11th on ABC.
See, now the catch on this one, which I kind of like, is because so many times you see the perfect, even Modern Family, they try not to be, but it is the perfect family, the perfectly cast family, and it's sort of, not so realistic,
It's a promising premise.
Right.
Something that we may not have seen yet, which is always, intriguing.
Which is a young lady that's a mom that's not in perfect shape.
Right.
Like with the ladies in town wearing their yoga pants, right? She's kind of upset about that, and she doesn't perfectly get along with the kids and doesn't have all the right answers for her kids left and right. So more realistic, possibly more fun. Of course, it all depends on the writing and the execution. But the premise, to me, seems pretty good. You tell me.
Yeah, I just said it's a promising premise. So.
Okay, well, I'm trying to get a little more out of you than that. Let's try to stretch a little bit. But okay, so if you're not, the thing is this. Have you seen this Katie Mixon? She's the star, and she's from Mike and Molly.
Yes.
I know. Do you like her?
I do like her, yes. That's another reason I think the show might be good.
Okay, because it's like a video journal that she's narrating. Mm-hmm. If that makes any sense. She's the narrator of her own life, and you're peeking into the different scenes.
I see what you mean by expanding now. Okay, all right.
Correct. All right, so we'll see. She's from Westport, Connecticut in the show.
That's important.
And I don't know. We'll see if it makes a... Well, it is. It's not the typical L.A. Modern Family situation. It's, middle America. Well, not really, but kind of away from that scene. All right, let's see. I know you have opinions on this one. Kevin can wait.
Since it's your retirement party tonight, if the leaves in the front yard got raked up today, that'd be great.
Oh, that'd be unbelievable.
Oh! Hey, grab plate serves burgers in there for all of us.
Actually, there's only 4. All right, fine, you guys can split one.
What do you think of Kevin James shaking your head no?
What happened to King of Queens? Well,
he went on for a movie career, and then
but now it's the King of Queens can wait. It's the same guy, same character.
Well, that's true.
Not for me.
I'll tell you what I think. First of all, I love it's being filmed on Long Island. It has every show has a reference to a Long Island institution. They had La Scala Pizza on the show at one point. They had All American Burger from Massapequa, which I love. All American Burger. It's not a franchise. It's just a one burger stand, but it's really cool. So I love that, number one. Number two, I think Kevin James is a clean, fun, funny person. The problem, I think, with this show, and it can grow into something else, but right now the problem I see is he's carrying every line, every punchline. And with King of Queens, he had a great cast to carry some of that along with him. You know, he had Jerry Stiller in the basement. He had the wife who was very opinionated and had a real personality. This wife is more like, like laughs at, like no wife laughs at the husband.
Me with you, basically.
Right. Yeah, whatever, you dirty. I mean, like, he like the daughter brings home burgers, and he ends up eating all the burgers. In real life,
that's funny.
Like Leah Remini.
That is funny. He eats all the burgers? Like he doesn't leave any for anyone else? That's hilarious.
But like in real life, that wife would be Leah Remini and get PO'd about it. This one just goes, okay, we can't eat anyway. We got to get going. Like, no wife says that. I'm just saying. So I think the writing can get a little bit more contemporary. I think they have a lot of
coming from you. That's pretty harsh criticism.
Well, but I also think that the premise can work with these. He's got buddies that are retired, so he can experience lots of different things with them. They're Long Island comedians, all of them, and all of them are very funny. So if they let those characters develop, the friends, and let them, and he's got his brother on the show, and let them develop. They're very funny people, so let them have some of the spotlight, and I think the show will be successful. Remember, they only had like 3 episodes out there. There's time for it to grow. It takes time for comedies especially to grow into their chemistry. Just saying, that's my point of view. I think it has potential.
I think your critique of it will last longer than the show does. The show itself will.
All right, we'll see. I hope and pray that it lasts. I really like him. I like the premise. Right. I just hope they take my advice and build up these side characters, and you'll really start to like it. How about this one? I bet you've never even heard of this. Crisis in 6 Weeks.
You know, our friend's kids wanted us to go and demonstrate in Washington last week.
I would have gone. Yeah, forget it. You know, I'm allergic to tear gas. God's going to punish us for this.
God's not going to punish you. You're an atheist.
But if I'm wrong, we're in big trouble.
All right, now there is Woody Allen himself writing, and I think directing, but certainly writing and acting in I hate to say it, it's a sitcom. There's nothing else.
It's so funny because my first instinct was who's trying to imitate Woody Allen there.
It's Woody Allen.
It's actually Woody Allen.
Yeah, he's aged, and he's now the grandfather, and he's not in every scene. Miley Cyrus is in it. I think that it has potential, but I don't know if Woody Allen has got his finger on the pulse anymore as far as comedy is concerned. You tell me.
Ooh, wow.
You think he's funny? You think those comments were funny? I don't know. I'm throwing it out there.
It's hard to tell from his soundbite, but his delivery. Knowing that he's in it, I would watch it just for that reason.
I'll roll the dice, but his delivery is poor. Did you think his delivery was good there? I'm just saying.
I believe you're saying my delivery is poor. I mean, my timing is perfect.
Yeah, I think he's lost it. I think that he's a great director. He's a very sharp writer, but we all get older. I think his time is gone. You tell me. I will see this show. It's definitely worth taking a look at, and again, give it some time. These comedies need time to develop. He's never done TV before. He's never done a sitcom before. It's really interesting that he's doing this, no?
It is interesting that he's doing this. I'm also I'm interested so far that you've stuck to like the main network shows, I think, right?
That's not main network. That's
what
cable.
Is this on?
That's cable. I don't know, but it's cable.
Good for you. Excellent. Okay, I stand corrected.
Thank you. 2 out of 3. We'll be back.
I'm impressed.
And we're playing the Friends theme for a minute on Everything Old is New Again.
Is that coming back?
No, it isn't, but something related to that is. We'll be back. Everything Old is New Again. .biz. If you're looking for us on the internet, .biz.
You're listening to Everything Old is New Again, America's entertainment pop culture talk show with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Has anyone seen Mrs. Burns?
Mr. Burns.
Mr. Burns, your wife graciously volunteered to be our room parent, so there's just a few things.
Listen, she's not going to be able to do that. See, she's decided to go back to work.
Oh, okay. So I'll just pencil you in.
Whoa. Hey, I'd love to, but please stop writing my name.
Everything Old is New again, back looking at the brand new season and what possibly would be brand new shows. And we're in the category right now of comedies, continuing the comedy category. What might be something of interest to watch? That is Man with a Plan with
Joey.
With Joey.
Sounded like Joey.
Some Friends. Yeah. I don't know. I hope it has.
They've tried several times with him to make a vehicle for him.
He just seems so like he just doesn't seem into it. Am I wrong? I don't know.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But.
And it's this premise again with in America that I'm starting to get annoyed with. Oh, the guy, is taking over the woman's job of raising the kids, and he's a dope, and he doesn't know what to do, and all he wants to do is watch sports, and he has no idea how to drive the kids to school, and he doesn't know what time anything is, and he can't make
like Mr. Mom from 1980.
Can't make the braid in the girl's hair, and he doesn't want to be the class mom because he wants to sit home and drink beer.
Yes.
I mean, as I'm saying, but I've seen this 1,000 times. I see it in commercials everywhere. Why? How is this funny? It was funny in the beginning when it was really different than what men are.
Right.
Now we're seeing it every Is there a man on television besides Kiefer Sutherland in 24 that's a man? Are there any? Help me out. Every man has been feminized because, for whatever reason, this man with a plan. I don't know what to do in my life. My wife's working, and I don't know how to make lunch. It's enough already with this. All right, that's just my point of view. You tell me.
No, I'm not touching that.
Then let's go to Speechless.
Which I am right now.
Taking care of your brother. He got the right mum.
Yeah, he did.
Go upstairs.
There's no upstairs here. You fight and fight to make sure JJ has a normal life. Maybe he's not the only one who deserves that.
Okay, there's Speechless. Now, this one is very interesting. Has a Mini Drivers in it, has a child that is special needs that can't speak and is in a wheelchair, has a gentleman that speaks for him that's humorous. The kid is humorous. And in a classy way, they are showing the difficulties that a special needs family has going through life. And I've seen the reviews and I've seen a few episodes. It's right off the bat is interesting, and there are funny lines. You just kind of get through. You got to get through your feelings of what would you say of uncomfortableness if you have that in that environment. I think it's great. It's empowering for that kind of a situation, for that kind of family. They're the stars of a show that is funny, and they're just living with their issues like all of us have issues. It's just different issues, and it's fun and funny. You tell me, have you gotten any feedback on this or have any clue?
No, but I think, like we were saying earlier with, what was the show we were talking about before? Oh, American Housewife. At least it's a different premise and something we haven't seen before, and that's always intriguing.
And the father...
Very delicate subject.
Yes, they have to do it carefully. The father of the, in this piece is the friend from Big Bang Theory. What's that guy's name?
Oh, the guy who can't pronounce his L's?
Yes.
Right.
And he appears to be, he was funny in that, so he's got some potential there as well. So I will definitely say give this one a shot. It's getting a big push. I've seen a couple great reviews, and already it's pretty funny. It's good. Because it also works upon, like, people that look upon the special needs family and have difficulties dealing with it, and they're like, what are you talking about? We're just like anybody else, and going with that premise. I think it's fun. Take a look at Son of Zorn.
Nothing more emotional than a soldier coming home, am I right? By the way, I'm Zorn. Defender of Zephyria. Decapitator of the Dark Herdsman of... I know you're fake sleeping.
Okay, we did a show on where you've got live action mixed with animation and a series based on that. I've seen a few of these episodes. It's a little flat. It does hit here and there. You've got to kind of want to invest the time to let this grow. Don't think it's going to get that time. You tell me. What have you seen?
No, I agree. It just, I don't know. It doesn't hold my interest enough. I don't think it's funny enough, and I think it's, like, the technology is there, but You know,
got to get a little better writing. Like that character's not likable in any way, shape, or form, and he's in every scene. So, and then the humans aren't that likable either. Like you got to get one person that you can side with.
Like our show, you know, you got one person you could side with, and the other one's not that interesting, but it still works.
Exactly. You got to have one that grounds the other one. Who's who is, you can write us on everythingoldisnewagain.com. Let us know who you think is taking what role. But that one's worth a shot just because it's unique and quirky. Right. It might be something that you think is funny, or you know, like maybe you're taping, you watch it at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon before dinner or something, you know, like just to pass the time. I don't know. I don't think you don't build your night around that show. And then there's one that's really interesting to me, Christopher Guest. Have you seen this? Mascots.
I want to.
Mascotting is not unlike a marriage in that it's about cooperation. It's about listening.
Yeah.
Even if people are screaming at you, you're not allowed to talk. And that's a good lesson for a marriage.
Yeah.
You know?
I can go along with that. As far as this is concerned, just to give you an idea, Christopher Guest and all of his Parker Posey and all of his kind
movie
of
crew, the movies crew,
right,
that he has.
are in that he's done. You know, Best in Show and other movies. It just are now doing a series. Now, I don't know how much he's going to be writing of the series. He set it up, and I wonder if they're doing like all improv the way they did those movies. Like they give them a scene.
I would think so, yeah.
Probably. They're very funny people. I love we talk about mascots. Now we're talking about the mascots of, the fictitious mascots of sports teams, and what do these characters go through being a mascot. I just think that they're setting it up to be very quirky but funny. And again, we're looking in 2016 for comedies, especially you got to characterize this as a sitcom, something different that is funny.
Yeah, the hope is if you like the movies that they've done, you know, Waiting for Guffman, Best in Show, so on and so forth, that this is a different format, right? Same style, but now it's in a TV serial format. So hopefully it'll be good, like the movies are.
There's a lot there because you could do a lot of different type of people that put on the mascot and why.
Right. Or it gets stale after, you know, that's the risk.
It's entirely possible, but as we've seen with this show, if you have an enthusiasm for what you're doing, and it's a basic premise that has potential. In other words, there's a lot of potential stories there because none have been done about this. It's possible to really, you got to really look it up to see where Mascots is and tape it. Make sure you see it because I think it's one that's, from what I've seen in these movies, it's my sense of humor. I don't know if it's everybody's, but to me, I immediately relate to what they're doing. I know that some of their jokes are going to fail because it's improv, but some of it's going to be so different that you're going to kind of say, hey, you know what? I'm watching something that is that is creative, and they're taking chances and they're trying to entertain. I don't know. I think it's worth a shot. I think what we'll then do is that's pretty much. I think, have we seen any other comedies that we've not done clips about?
I think that's covered it.
What about the one that you spoke about on earlier before the show?
Oh, Better Things. Better Things, it's called, with Pamela Adlon, I think her name is, and she's very funny. The show is funny. I would give that a shot, too. I think that's on FX, right. like Louis C.K. show, who I think co-produced this one.
Right, and it's that vein of, not entirely the same, but she was on Louis C.K.'s show as the girlfriend,
right? In
quotes, so she wasn't always the girlfriend, but
this one she's like a single mom actress in L.A.
Right.
But I've seen a couple of them, and I would recommend it.
Oh, you've seen the show itself?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
And so you would definitely recommend it. All right, so I'll go with that. And try to get the background.
Let's get that gong out of the studio. What's that doing?
By the way, they're doing a new gong show. We'll talk about that another time. We'll be back, and Everything Old is New Again. The 24th theme, for some reason, is being played. We'll find out when we get back, and Everything Old is New Again, talking about the brand new TV season.
Now, back to America's entertainment pop culture talk show. Everything Old is New Again, with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Mike, please, just tell us what you know. Capitol's been attacked. Congress, Cabinet, Eagle is gone. Sir, you are now the...
Oh, my goodness.
The President of the United States.
There you go, and that's from Designated Survivor, Kiefer Sutherland, Douglas Viviani with David Cohen. We're talking about the brand new season and only new television shows. That's Designated Survivor. question to David Cohen, yes or no?
Yes.
Interesting.
A ridiculous premise, but so far, the episodes I've seen, it works. I think it's really interesting, and it's different to see Kiefer Sutherland not as Jack Bauer, which, in the first episode, I was just waiting for him to just,
break out,
start doing Jack Bauer. But he's like this,
meek.
Yeah, basically, he's like the Clark Kent to Superman here, and but. I so far so good. I like it.
Cabinet member kept aside from the State of the Union.
Which apparently they always do in case something happens to the Capitol when the president is giving a State of the Union speech. And of course, in this episode, the first episode, something actually does happen. They're all blown away, and this guy becomes the president.
And then the question is, how does he rebuild the government? And he was going to be fired. I think he was HUD or something like that.
He was going to be let go.
Yeah, yep. And now basically he's king of the country. If you think about it, there are no other elected officials.
That's true.
National elected officials yet. So what does he do? What do? Do you hold elections? When do you do them? A whole thing.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I just think, this is me personally, I'm upset at Kiefer Sutherland for not doing the new 24 instead of doing this. So I have to get over that hurdle, that prejudice, because he's so good at 24. Exactly what you're saying. I've got to throw that aside and give this a shot. I haven't done so. I can't get over it. You tell me.
I hate to say it, but, he's getting older.
Yeah.
And I think the Jack Bauer thing just, it ran its course. Like, I don't think it would be believable anymore as Jack Bauer. That's just me.
Totally can see that.
I think he left at the right time.
But the problem is they're doing a new one. I don't know.
With somebody else.
Yeah, somebody else. Yeah. And so if they didn't do it, I don't know. If they didn't do another 24, I would say, okay, give this a shot. I know this is illogical, but I'm mad at him for not doing the new one of the 24.
Well, maybe
but
maybe it's going to be like James Bond. Now they're going to have a different Jack Bauer. But
it's just an emotional thing. Listen, life goes on.
I hear you.
Life changes. Just emotionally, I got to get over that. And I got to hear a couple more good reviews, and I'll definitely dive into this.
Okay,
it's definitely worthwhile. I hear a lot.
He wears glasses in this one.
Oh, yeah, and everyone's talking about it. Probably because everyone likes the idea that the entire government is gone and we're starting from scratch. Probably not a bad idea in this day and age.
Hopefully he's not giving anyone any ideas either.
Right, of course. All right, let's take a look at Frequency, which is interesting.
I never told you about my father. They found his body in the East River 2 days after my 8th birthday. Last night.
This is WQ2YV.
Hello? I spoke to him.
All right, now this is based on a book and the prior movie, which was done maybe 20 years ago, and they've updated it. And did you see the original movie, Frequency? Just as it was a kind of a small, low budget.
No, I didn't.
Really cool. What happens is this young lady has a experience with a radio. What do they call that radio? The two-way radio they used to use.
Like a ham radio?
Ham radio. And her dad was a ham radio enthusiast. Made more sense when they placed this back in the 60s, but okay. And 20 years later now, this radio now somehow communicates to her dad 20 years ago. So when she gets on the radio, she can talk to her dad from 1996, and she's in 2016. So she can tell him to do things that changes his life because she knows what happened in certain events in his life, and he does so, and then all of a sudden that changes her life.
It's an interesting show. I did not know that it was a movie.
Yes. Look the movie up. It's really well done.
Okay.
Really well done. So this is cool. The first episode, she does something, and it changes her life as it exists now. And now what do? She saved the father from dying, but he dies later. They're not ruining anything, but, to a different event. So comes into play of time travel, too, in a way.
Which we've had a show on.
Well, we will do that. And
I'm speaking in the future.
And It's interesting because the question is, can you change events, or is the timeline, no matter what you do, going to roll over you, and fate has got to happen? So they struggle with that, and it's got a lot of potential. It's on the CW.
Yep.
One that is also a time travel show, and again, we've definitely got to do shows about time travel, is Timeless.
You're telling me that this guy actually went back in time for real to the Hindenburg. You were our best option. To do what? Go after him?
I think someone who loved history would want to save it.
Now, this is very interesting. Did you remember the old show Time Travel in the 60s?
No.
Time Tunnel, sorry.
Oh, Time Tunnel, yes.
And in the Time Tunnel, they would go back in time. It was only on 2 years, an Irwin Allen show. And they would visit points in history. And certain events would happen, and they would need to either recorrect the timeline or they wanted to change the timeline. Same thing here in a way. There's a villain that stole a time machine. There's 2 time machines. This villain stole a time machine and changed the Hindenburg event from blowing up. The Hindenburg did not blow up now. They send back this group of 3 heroes. You watch what it's all about: a pilot, a historian, and a sort of security guy, and they get embroiled in stopping this fella from doing and changing the timeline. They can't figure out why he changed the timeline. And it's a serial. In other words, this is going to continue because the end of the first show, they think they saved the day and put things back in order. And because of what they did, even little things, changed the heroine's life, where all of a sudden her mother, who was dying, is well, and her sister, who existed, no longer exists. So they messed around with the timeline right away, and now they've got to go back and fix the timeline.
Huh.
And the thing is, they're not allowed to go back to the Hindenburg. They cannot go back in time to a time that you visited before. So they can't be on the same place. You can't be at the same place twice. So they went back to the Hindenburg event. If they went back to the Hindenburg event again, they would die. So how are they going to fix this? And where's this time travel guy? And why is he doing this? Very cool. It has to be done right, but very cool, very interesting stuff. Fringe kind of did this where they had a parallel universe and changed time, timelines. The question is, what are they going to do with this series-wise? If they keep on changing the timeline, are they never going to be able to bring it back to the original core timeline? I don't know what they're going to do with that, but they're going to visit a lot of different places. The Rat Pack they're going to meet, and a lot of different historical events. They're going to try to solve the mystery of Lincoln assassination, or stop the assassination, maybe solve the Kennedy assassination. So it's going to be some interesting historical things, and I like that for Family Man, if you will, for someone to actually dive into history and get your kids excited about history, of course.
And is this on is this network? Or
yes,
is this,
I can't remember which, but it's on network. And let's try real quick, The Exorcist.
I was told you were an exorcist. You're being manipulated by forces you can't even begin to understand. You're afraid? Yeah, you should be too. Look at what we
There it is, The Exorcist. Have you seen this one? No.
We're going to disagree because I see the enthusiasm with the way you asked me that question.
You don't like it?
Not really.
Why not?
I don't know. Because I compare it to the movie.
Yes, you got to get through that because it's not the movie. It's not even a sequel.
I can't get past that.
It's not even the same characters.
I don't know.
It is going to be, I'm telling you, it's going to be fantastic, but it's going to be one of those shows, I know what you're saying, in some way that people are not going to accept, either because it's too dark, it's not being talked about, it's not advertised, or it's hard to redo a classic like this. They're not really redoing it. They're kind of taking the idea and going with it.
Maybe the younger people like it.
I just think that it's not going to be successful because it's not a topic that is going to be very popular. But I might be wrong.
Like to be scared, though.
I think it's a fantastic show. It's got great potential, great special effects. Even on national TV, it really took chances and can do things that scare you. I was scared and surprised in the first episode.
All right, I'll give it. I'll stick with it.
Give it a shot. All of these need a little bit of time. I think it's great. I love it. We're going to try to get somebody on from that show. Really.
Wow.
It's a great topic too. You don't really see that topic. It's really scary.
This is Everything Old is New Again, America's entertainment pop culture talk show with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
She passed away.
I'm sorry, Marlon.
Oh, hey. That's life, right? She was a good one. Gave me something to live for.
Nothing personal. I don't want to die. Unlike you, who tries to accomplish that every second of the day.
Welcome to Everything Old is New Again. That's a little clip from Lethal Weapon, the brand new show. Here with David Cohen, the ever-discriminating David Cohen, because he is an individual that's looking at the brand new television season and only looking at the brand new shows with a discriminating eye, if you will, trying to determine which ones you think would be of interest or worth a view. Now, what do you think of this Lethal Weapon with Damon Wayans?
I like Damon Wayans a lot. I don't like Lethal Weapon.
The show? The movie,
show.
What?
No, well, the movie was good. But the chemistry isn't there for me. Again, I'm comparing it to the movies, which I think were, especially the first few they made, which were really good, really well done.
Because everything old is new again. Like, that's part of it.
And it's come on, man, can't you come up with a new idea?
Right.
Wow.
Right.
So yeah,
I think that they're going to try to dive into the emotional aspect of Damon Wayans' partner's, which was Mel Gibson's character's motivation and sorrow for losing his wife, and try to make him much more sympathetic and understanding as to why he takes so many chances and why he's basically a lethal weapon, because he takes chances and could care less if he dies. So that makes him head and shoulders above other cops.
It's like just see the movie. It's like what? That's the thing. I think I get ticked off because, my God, we've seen this exact same thing. In fact,
yeah. But if they don't tap into what I'm talking about, what are they like? What would you even suggest? Like, I don't even get the pitch on this. How you would say you're going to run 7 years of this show? I don't.
Right.
Like, all right. So how many 7 years of this guy putting himself into harm's way and getting the villains? I'm done with cops and robbers to begin with. It's enough. I mean, I don't know about you, but but so maybe that's not. I don't know. It just looks like it's very well done. Might be worth a peek. But again, there's an example of everything old is new again. Where come up with a new idea. How about this? Here's a brand new idea.
All right, Mac. You're up.
Okay, you got 30 minutes, Hoss.
See you in 29.
What's plan B?
Same as always.
Improvise.
MacGyver. It's really not a brand new idea.
It's really not. I thought you were being ironic. You were being ironic, weren't you?
I was being tricky, if you will. I mean, the original was great, a product of its time. We didn't have the technology we have today, so he could use like a clothespin to get out of whatever environment, get out of the space rocket or whatever. But now with all the technology and stuff, I don't know how they're going to make gadgets for this new character to be able to use to get out of circumstances. It's going to be really, to be realistic, you'd have to be a tech expert to get out of these problems, if that makes sense, in today's world. But I don't know. You tell me. I
have zero interest in seeing it. The same reason we just talked about with Lethal Weapon. I'd rather see something fresh and different.
Right. But listen, there are people, for sure, we're older than some others. There are people that haven't seen Lethal Weapon or MacGyver in the 80s. Maybe they were born in the 80s, And
that's true.
These shows now are revisiting very successful franchises that were successful for a reason. Maybe if it's executed well, especially MacGyver, it kind of can be interesting, like a Mission Impossible-ish. We're getting out of these, spots, and how do you use your brain to kind of use whatever's around you to stop the bomb from going off?
Maybe we should just realize that they don't really care about our age group anymore. You know what I mean? They don't care. You guys have seen it. We're not interested in what you've seen. Sorry.
It's a good idea.
It
was successful before. Right. Now the younger folks that haven't seen it originally,
that's who they're going after. Right.
Listen, Hawaii Five-0, which we'll talk about, I would guess down the line, is entering its 7th season.
That's crazy. That's just crazy.
7th season. No one's talking about it, but someone's watching it. It's like kind of mediocre, but it's enough to keep it going. So someone's. But when Hawaii Five-0 was on back in the day, it was a talk of the town.
It was big.
Yep. Anyway, let's try something truly.
Take my advice, brother. You should be out there helping people, like them other fellas downtown. Knock down a few doors in the projects, and now you Harlem's hero. I'm just getting started.
There you go, Luke Cage. Now this could be interesting.
Oh, I already loved it. I've already seen half the season. Because it's on Netflix, so you can binge watch it.
Well, season's what, like 8 episodes? Like what's a season?
I forget how many. I think there might be 10 in this one.
All right.
But it's the continuation of the plan Netflix has and Marvel of putting together not the Avengers,
Defenders.
The Defenders. So this one's about Luke Cage, who's appeared before in Jessica Jones, which is also a great show. But Luke Cage is it's phenomenal. It's an almost all African American cast, and it's about a reluctant superhero, and it's set in New York City, which I love too, in Harlem.
Right.
And so far, it's just phenomenal. I highly recommend this one.
He has no interest in being a superhero, but he has skin that's impervious, and he's strong.
It's like indestructible.
Right, and he also has strength. I don't know where he got that from. Was there an origin story?
They haven't gotten to it. Yeah, there is an origin story, and I think they're really sticking to it.
Because I remember in the comics, he's almost as strong as the Thing.
Yeah.
So he's a very strong individual. You could see him in Jessica Jones when they had the bar fight scene. He's like not even moving, and people are attacking him. He's not even flinching. So he's a very interesting character because he doesn't care about, is not interested in doing it. Realistic too. He's like, he didn't choose this power, and he's upset with the world and upset with the situation.
But the writing, the acting, the directing, it's great. If you like Daredevil, which I am a big fan of, and Jessica Jones, you're going to love this one.
Yeah, and Netflix is doing a nice job. Let's take a look at Westworld on HBO.
Welcome to Westworld. No orientation. No guidebook. All our hosts are here for you.
I think there may be something wrong with this world.
Now, I just wanted to take a moment. Lethal Weapon, MacGyver, Luke Cage, Westworld. Just this section alone, everything old is new again.
But Luke Cage was never a TV show.
But it was a comic book in the 60s.
Right. But what I guess my point is, it's not a recycled TV or movie show they're doing.
Well, I'm not putting it down at all. That doesn't mean I'm putting it down. But all of these existed quite a long time ago.
True.
Their origins, and are now coming back to play. So the premise of our show, I think, is right on mark. I think there's nothing wrong with nostalgia, and I think it also, we're not just a nostalgia show. We are talking about the new topics of entertainment and how and why we're doing a Westworld show. It was a movie in the 70s. It was highly successful. Why aren't we done with that? We aren't done with it because obviously there are stories for J.J. Abrams and his crew with Anthony Hopkins and Ed Harris to tell about robots, or a world where you go, there are robots that are very realistic, and you can do whatever you want in the West. So it's a fantasy come true, but then the robots fight back, so to speak, or become self-aware, and they don't like what's happening.
Have you seen it? Do you like it?
I think it's tremendous. It has great potential.
I do
like
too.
watching a movie.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
I mean, they are really producing stuff that, you don't need to leave the house sometimes anymore. You may want to binge watch this one. Like, I would almost want to not watch it for a couple of weeks so I can watch 3 hours in a row.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, 'cause it's that good, and you want to devote your time to it. Because you're sort of like bummed out after the hour. You're like, oh, come on, I got to wait another week for this? It's
amazing how the TV habits have changed, right? Hasn't it, over the years now with binge watching? It's great.
Yeah.
Why didn't we have it? Why didn't we have television when we were growing up, Doug?
That's a good question. Let's listen to Angelica.
We didn't have radio when we were growing up.
When I grow up, I want to be a movie maker. I want to be a dancer.
Okay.
Bye, everything old is new again, people. Everything's gonna be old, new again.
There you go. So there's the next generation. These characters are going to hear.
So Angelica wants to be a movie producer?
Movie maker.
A movie maker, and Leo wants to be a dancer.
Correct, a dancer. Yes,
excellent.
Like his accent.
That's awesome.
So, that's the next generation that may possibly see, 20 years from now, they may see everything old is new again, the next generation come back to life.
Everything old is new again.
Again, as he just said.
Again.
What do you think?